The case of UFO contactee Billy Meier has been an intriguing one for many decades and actually is still ongoing today, not just because of his crystal clear photographs of UFOs and footage of UFOs, but the prophecies and predictions conveyed to Billy during his encounters with human-looking extraterrestrials. Join me on Let's Talk Paranormal next. My guest today, Michael Horn, is the official American media representative for Billy Meier, a simple Swiss farmer who's been having UFO contacts since the age of 5. And Michael has been researching this case for nearly 25 years. He's also a musician, a songwriter, an inventor. He created nail art. He's also the creator of Sit and Get Fit video fitness program, and for the last 30 years has all of that experience with yoga, tai chi, qigong, and various massage. There really is no end to Michael's talents, but tonight he's here to discuss and share with us information about Billy Meier and why he feels the case is a valid one. Michael, thank you for joining us tonight. 62 years of contact. How did you meet Billy?
Well, actually, I met Billy 4 years ago for the first time, even though I'd been studying the case and all the information in it for many years before that, a little more than 20, actually. But I went to Switzerland because there was a group of people that would come every year to meet from around the world who were involved in studying the material. Even though I had done all of my work independently, I had decided just prior to that, by perhaps a half a year or so, to join a study group in LA that had a few people that were studying the material. And in that way I could kind of officially go and meet him as part of the little tiny American contingent, and I mean a very tiny one, 3 people. So I had the opportunity and I went, and I just got back from my 4th year of visiting.
Right. What made the case valid to you that you felt that you wanted to go out and research this?
Well, of course, when I saw the first photo book, as a lot of people did in 1979, I had that feeling of this is real. Now, you can look at something and say this is real or it isn't real, but you can't make a conclusion that you can stand behind based simply on impressions from photographs, one way or the other. But there was more to it than that. There was, even in the first photo book, there was some of the investigative research that was done on the photography, on the on the metal samples, and information, quotes from the alleged extraterrestrials, and things that made sense to me. So I decided to find any and everything else I could on it, and at that time there wasn't anything else. It wasn't until 7 years later that I was in a little cafe in Sedona, Arizona, ordering an alfalfa and sprout sandwich, you know, little health place. And my daughter and I and friends, we were the only people in there except for another fellow sitting in the back. And because it was a health food restaurant, you know, it takes a long time to make a little sandwich.
Of course.
So we got to speaking with each other, and turned out that he was a retired IRS agent. We talked about Sedona, UFOs, Billy Meier case came up, and before you knew it, he said, well, you know, when you get back to LA, why don't you come up and read the contact reports? I said, what's that? He said, well, you know those quotes from the ETs? I said, yeah. He says, there's almost 2,000 pages of conversations that Meier had with these people, and that's what it's taken from. And I said, yeah. So when I got back to LA, this is 86, went up, and this guy gave me all this stuff, and I was reading it literally for weeks, partially because the translations were difficult,
right,
but primarily because they were so compelling and so interesting. And that's what drew me farther and farther, deeper and deeper into the case, because there was information in there and a tone and a reality to the conversations that defied, in my mind, a hoax.
Mm-hmm. So it just pulled you in. You felt that, this is valid. We need to investigate this further.
I want to know more. I want to know everything I can know about this.
Right. Let's have a look at some pictures of Billy.
Sure.
This is Billy that we have here.
Pretty much the way he looks these days.
Yeah, simple Swiss farmer.
So they say.
And he is handicapped, right? He has one arm?
Yes, he lost his arm. I believe it was 1967 he lost his left arm. He had taken photographs of UFOs prior to that in India in 64. The amazing thing in this case is that after he lost his arm, when he became disabled, the physical evidence became more abundant and better than when he had two arms. So
right,
how do you start becoming a better hoaxer if that was the case?
Right. So that probably started to happen deliberately to prove to...
It was I've often said that, for the people who are skeptics, the only way this could be more obviously real is if Billy only had no arms and did it all with his jaws or something.
Which would be a little bit impossible to do, I think.
Just a wee bit.
Yeah. And this is his hometown of Switzerland?
Well, actually, this is one of the lovely shots of Switzerland, but not his hometown. It was just such a pretty shot, I had to use it.
Right.
But it's representative, of course, of the beauty of Switzerland and not far from where he does live. Mm-hmm. And this is indeed the little facility or farmhouse that he and his family live in with a couple other people and work in. And it's a beautiful place. I was just walking there days ago.
Right. On a recent trip.
And one of the little towns very nearby, quiet little Swiss villages. Not a lot of people. People very aware of who comes and goes. A very nicely spread out rural and rugged area. Mm-hmm. Very difficult area.
How well is Billy known in Switzerland? Do they know who
Well,
he is?
in the immediate region, he's known quite well. As a matter of fact, what a lot of people don't know is that even the Swiss military, on a regular basis, have people coming and consulting with him on various things.
Really?
He's extremely knowledgeable in areas that would far exceed your expectations or mine of what a so-called simple Swiss farmer should be knowing about. But when you throw into the mix that he's, at this point, I can say we've conclusively proved he's a real UFO contactee,
right,
then it's no longer so surprising that he should have the knowledge he does.
Now, why do you think Billy has been chosen, Michael? Why not the U.S. president?
It's funny you pick that example because the story is that after Billy had been working with the extraterrestrials for some time, an approach was made to a government, and I think that it was the U.S. But the terms were that the ETs would interact with the government through their intermediary, who would be Billy. This was unacceptable to the egos of the government people, and we missed out on an interaction and a benefit perhaps to all of humanity because of some people's enormous egos, that they couldn't tolerate that a lesser man would stand between them.
Right.
So why Billy?
Interesting.
The case has a lot of things in it. I divide them in two categories: facts and speculation. Mm-hmm. So the answer has to fall into the realm of speculation because it's based on reincarnation, which is not yet to us a fact of life. Excuse me. Apparently to the extraterrestrials it is, and Billy, not the person but the spirit, the eternal part of him, that we all have an eternal spirit. Mm-hmm. That spirit form or spirit has a very, very ancient past, and one that has served as a prophet at different times on our world historically in the past.
Right.